Kia is part of the K2 or the Korean 2. The other half is sister company Hyundai, and both companies are doing very well over this last economically challenged year.
Kia is setting sales records and they're increasing their market share year after year. They are definitely a brand worth checking out, especially with vehicles like the all-new Sorento SUV.
Kia wants to move past being a value brand to a quality brand. They actually want to move up to be top 3 in J.D. Power and Associates initial quality study within 3 years. That's a bold ambition, and they're definitely a company to watch. Let's have a look at this Sorento and see what all the fuss is about.
The 2011 Sorento was benchmarked against the Ford Escape, Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, and Chevy Equinox in terms of design and size. Longer and wider, but a tad lower than the outgoing model, it's almost as long as the class-leading Equinox, but it's the widest of the group, providing almost mid-sized dimensions at a compact crossover price. The design is simple and robust looking, with the integration of the Tiger nose grille that we first saw introduced on the Kia Soul last year. Another feature that will be integrated in all new Kia designs is a honeycomb grille, which is mirrored in the rear taillight design. Kia was able to achieve a pleasant design, but the problem with any crossover is that it's hard, other than the front and rear lights and trim, to really get away from the basic shape of these vehicles.
Since the Sorento is one of the largest vehicles competing in the compact class, it really kind of is more like a mid-size SUV. It's got a lot of room on the inside. There's even enough room for a third row of optional seats. If you get the vehicle with the optional dual moonroof, it really feels open and airy. Okay, gripe time. Always say this about Kia and Hyundai products. The seat goes up high enough for little people. It doesn't go low enough for tall people. I've got the seat at its lowest setting, and you know, I feel like I'm towering over the dash. Please let the seat go lower. The materials used are of high quality, featuring soft touch buttons on the center console, gloss black trim, and touches of silver. Kia is known for including a long list of content at an attractive price, and the Sorento follows this trend by including standard satellite radio, steering wheel mounted controls, USB and auxiliary ports for audio, Bluetooth, and seat warmers. Plus, rear park assist is available on 95% of all trim levels.
The starting price of the 4-cylinder model is just under $24,000, and the fact that heated seats come standard at this price is a big selling feature. The V6 model starts at just over $29,000 and features standard keyless entry and push-button start with optional navigation, backup camera, and more.
Now, the previous Sorento was based on a truck platform, and they would put the body on top. That's gone. This vehicle is a unibody design, basically built off a car platform, and that's where the automotive market is moving. But it's also very strong because this new Sorento is built with over 70% of high tensile steel. That makes it stronger, it has more rigidity, and it's lighter. This, along with McPherson's strut design up front, with independent multi-link rear suspension in the back, proves to be a rewarding vehicle to drive. I had a chance to test the all-wheel and front-wheel drive V6 versions when this vehicle was launched, and I was pleasantly surprised by the sure-footed handling. It also has impressive power from a 3.5-liter, 276 horsepower V6. In fact, the V6 is a real performer and emits a wonderful note when pushed hard. I know many people will be attracted to the 4-cylinder, but the V6 makes this Sorento feel more luxurious. Now, there's something going on in the marketplace. You think about the recession that we've gone through over the last year or so, and you've had troubles with Toyota with their quality issues, and people are out there shopping around. They're looking for value. Maybe they're attracted to a Kia. Well, they get some good value with the car, but then they start driving it for a while. They realize it's not only good value, it's also a good car too. So you have Kia making strides in design and quality, and they want to build an excellent driving and ownership experience. So the question is, have they achieved that with this new Sorento? Absolutely yes, and there's only better things to come from this brand.
One reason that you would consider buying the Kia Sorento would be the same reason you might consider buying the Chevy Equinox, and that's size. They've really done a great job of bringing together the compact and mid-size SUV class. Now keep in mind that the optional third row of seats on the Kia isn't offered on the Chevy Equinox. Zach mentioned the V6, but I think that most people will buy the 4-cylinder, just like we recommended the 4-cylinder in the Equinox. The 4-cylinder is respectable with 175 horsepower from a 2.4-liter engine. The 5-speed automatic on the last model has been replaced by a 6-speed automatic transmission for better power delivery and improved fuel efficiency. Very few compact crossovers offer a manual transmission, but Kia continues to provide one on the base model. Another reason for the 4-cylinder is the impressive fuel economy. It's rated at 9.7 liters per 100K in the city and 6.9 liters on the highway. Whether it's a 4-cylinder or V6, the warranty is also a big attraction because it covers owners for 5 years or 100,000 kilometers. This V6 is an absolute gem to drive, especially on the highway. The driver's seat is very comfortable, there's more than adequate passing power, and the interior is incredibly quiet.
I mentioned at the beginning that Kia has been looked upon as a value brand, and they want to move past that to a brand that people actually aspire to own. Now, last year when we did the Forte, you liked the vehicle, but you hadn't seen the brand really achieve that sort of place yet in the market. Have you changed your mind?
In the past, Kia didn't have the same badge appeal as a lot of other vehicles. So we were getting these cars in and they were actually surprising us with how amazing they were. So when we got the Sorento, I was actually expecting it to be a great vehicle, and there were a lot of things I liked about it. It's got a great starting price of just under $24,000. With that price, there are a lot of standard features. I love the fact that you have the option to get the third row of seats, and it's got great fuel economy, especially on the 4-cylinder engine. And on the downside, I have to be honest, I'm kind of pulling at straws here, but I just found the interior to be a little bit too busy. There's a crazy mix of fabrics in there, soft touch plastics, hard plastics, chrome. It almost just seems like they're trying too hard.
I got to disagree with you on that, and that's one of my likes, the interior of this vehicle. Because you know what, if you go with one sort of monochromatic interior, it looks cheap. They've done this to give it a warm sense of invitingness into the interior. You know what I like about this vehicle? And I always push the 4-cylinder. Try the 4-cylinder, as Lacey said, it's great, but the V6 has a beautiful torque to it. It's got a wonderful exhaust note. It's a great engine if you're doing long-term cruising on this. The price is excellent, as Lacey mentioned. It's a nice size. The other vehicle that I find this vehicle competes with is the Chevy Equinox. It too is almost a mid-sized vehicle for a compact price. Both of these vehicles have a lot of space on the inside. So if you are a family that's looking for a vehicle that's a little bit bigger than, say, a CR-V or a RAV4, but you don't want to spend a ton more money, this vehicle is going to satisfy your needs. On the downside, you know, one thing for me, we mentioned it's a good-looking vehicle, and the only exception for me is the back. It looks okay, it just reminds me too much of the Dodge Journey crossover. And the other thing, the seats, as I mentioned, don't go low enough for me for a taller driver. So Lacey, the question again, has Kia achieved that status where people will actually aspire to own their products?
Zach, they are definitely on their way.
Now, they also made a statement that they're going to be top 3 in quality within 3 years. That's something we're going to check back on for sure.
Can't get enough of the new Kia Sorento? Watch our web-only features at drivingtelevision.com.